When we begin our practice of Vipassana, we always begin by bringing the attention to one single object. A simple practice called Anapanasati. And I use the word simple, but don't mistake that for easy. The practice is simple to explain, simple to use, if we don't have expectation of how it should be. And this is really the secret of all our practice, is not to have expectation, but to simply be with what the mind presents. So we have this practice called Anapanasati. Ana means in-breath, Pana means out-breath, and Sati technically means mindfulness, but in these modern times I prefer to use the word awareness, so we could say awareness of breathing. Now the breath is with us always, until the point of death, I suppose, but the breath is with us always. So this practice, once we understand it, is with us whenever we want it, whether we're sitting, standing, walking or lying down, or whether we're sitting in the car, in traffic, or sitting quietly at home. We can always take our attention to the breath, the natural respiration. We're not trying to control the breath, we're not trying to do anything special with it, but just to be aware of it, whether we are awake or asleep or conscious or unconscious, the body breathes. This is the first part of our deeper understanding. You don't breathe. Breathing happens, and we turn our attention to that. Now this practice is very important. It's the foundation for everything we do. And if you want to build a house, of course you can't start with the roof. You have to start with the foundations, and they have to be strong and secure and stable to support the rest of the building. And this is how it is with our Dhamma practice. So we have this simple practice of Anapanasati, which I'm not going to explain here, but I'm just going to speak around it, because the instruction is that we make our sole object of attention the touch sensation of breath as it passes through the nose. Really, that's it. As our focus and as our awareness develops, then it becomes more and more refined, so we are able to feel the sensation with each in-breath and the sensation with each out-breath. And having established that contact with this touch sensation of breath, then that becomes the meditation object for the period of time we're sitting. Now that's very simple for me to speak about. Make this the sole object of our attention, the touch sensation of breath. However, because of the nature of the mind, we can recognize that the mind, even if at the beginning, even if it's excited by the idea of, well, I'm going to begin to learn meditation that took the Buddha to full enlightenment, so I'm excited, and we take a posture and we sit, and then the teacher, I invite people to begin. And at the beginning we think, well, yes, here's the breath coming in, the breath coming out, the breath coming in, the breath coming out. And then the mind begins to become distracted. Well, is this all there is? I thought there would be more than this. I thought I would hear mystical music playing or angels coming down and tapping me on the shoulder saying, you're wonderful. But that's not what happens. Of course it's not. Every aspect of our meditation, whether it's Anapanasati, Vipassana Bhavana or Metta Bhavana, is always about you. It's always about you and your life. It's all about the mind habits that you have cultivated, always. And we don't, in a way, we don't have to change anything. We have to see them and then understand them. It's that understanding that takes their power away. So at the beginning, we sit something like this, and the attention is with the breath, but the mind is looking for something more interesting, always. And is looking into the past or the future, deciding what is useful for it or not. But traditionally, these hindrances to a focused mind, the pancha nirva, are classified as 5 separate things. So that's really, as I have been asked to speak about this is what I want to speak about now. The 5 hindrances. The 5 hindrances to a calm, a peaceful, a focused, a clear mind. And they're not only things that we meet in meditation, of course, and I've just said that. Whatever you're meeting in meditation is you. It's your life. That's what you're meeting. You're always meeting you. There isn't a special meditation you that's waiting for you when you sit on your cushion. It's you. It's you with your thoughts, moods, feelings, emotions. It's you with your concerns, your anxieties, your stresses. It's you. It's always you. And that's a good thing. It doesn't always feel like that, but that's a good thing. That we meet the architect of our life, which is ourselves. It's not someone else. It's not our parents or our teachers or our colleagues. It's not our president. It's ourselves. The world that we experience is the one that we create for ourselves by following this mind. So if we want to cultivate a mind that's in peace and in balance, then we have to look at the obstructions or the hindrances to that process. And there, as I have said, there are 5. Traditionally in Buddhist teaching, there are 5. And the first one is desire. Now, desire often gets a very bad press. All desire are wrong and bad and wicked and evil. Of course, it's not true, not at all. Desire is simply a movement of mind towards an object. Desire is perhaps the unconscious statement that if I had that, then I'd be happy. And that object, of course, can be anything, from the most subtle to the most gross. And this is not only what we meet in meditation. In meditation, you may be sitting here and the mind says, well, if I had a cup of tea now, then I'd be happy. And then we focus on that desire, and it takes us out of what we may call meditation. That hindrance to the calm and peaceful mind. Now you're not meditating anymore. Now you're lost in the fantasy of having a cup of tea. And if I had a cup of tea, then I'd probably want a cookie with it. And I wouldn't want black tea. I think, in fact, maybe I'd rather have coffee. And so we have this spiraling, taking us away from this calm and peacefulness. So the meditation is disturbed. So the first aspect is desire. And all it means is really not to follow it. Now, at the beginning, when we have our Anapanasati, what you are instructed to do is to cut that desire, is not to follow it, is not to have any association with it at all. The moment it arises, that we take out this samurai sword of the mind and cut. We cut our relationship with it and bring our attention back to the breath. In our Anapanasati practice, we make the breath the most important thing. Everything else can fall away, to push it away even. So not to get lost in desire. Now, just to clarify desire, not all desire is bad. Of course not. It is a movement of mind towards an object. And if that object is to serve and to help and to be kind and generous, then these are desires we should follow, but just not in the meditation. But in our life, yes, perhaps, if it's appropriate. So the first obstacle to that peace and calm is desire. And in the practice of Anapanasati, we are instructed to cut it, not to give it any power. However, as our practice develops and we enter into the area of Vipassana, which means to see things as they really are, then that desire is used as an object of investigation, where we look at this movement of desire towards an object. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one, of course, is the opposite to desire, which is aversion, which is to push something away. Again, in the meditation, there are many, many things we can complain about as we sit. First of all, of course, there's physical pain, there's boredom, there's noises we often hear in the Dhamma hall, people coughing, or noises from outside. It shouldn't be like this. This is how the mind moves. It shouldn't be like this. If I didn't have this, and that's the movement of aversion, to push something away that we attribute our unhappiness to, if you like. So to push something away, if I didn't have this, then I'd be happy. Now desire says if I had it, I'd be happy. And aversion says, well, if I didn't have it, I'd be happy. So it's this endless conflict in the mind of seeking out the things material or physical or mental, emotional, or their opposites, to push something away. So this is aversion. And of course, when we are living our life with aversion, then we're always the victim, because nothing is ever satisfying for us, nothing is ever pleasing for us. We think, well, this is nice, but it could be better if, and then we push away something that we feel is spoiling the moment. Again, in the Anapanasati practice, we are to cut that, not to get lost in aversion. The moment aversion arises, we take out this samurai sword of the mind and we cut. And then make the breath the most important thing. In our Vipassana practice, of course, aversion is a quality of mind that we will use as an object of investigation. What does it mean to be averse towards certain things? How does that operate in my own life? The idea of complaining all the time. Complaining is often a movement of power. This is not good enough for me. But aversion itself makes us the victim. Always challenging what's in front of us. It's not good enough, it's not good enough, it's not good enough. So in the Anapanasati, we cut this. In the Vipassana, we investigate it. Or we use it as an object of investigation. The next one is restlessness. So there are two kinds of restlessness, both connected, of course. The first is physical restlessness, which is when we sit in meditation. We may not be aware of it, but there are movements that we make for no reason except just to make a movement. And of course, sitting in front of people, I see it all the time, that people are shuffling and correcting and changing their posture and scratching and itching, scratching itches on their face, or often, just kind of moving or stretching or doing something, when actually the instruction is sit as still as you can. And if you feel the need to move, don't do it. So that's the first part of restlessness, to sit still. So if you feel the need to move, if you have pain, you can move. You can change your posture. We're not saying that. But fidgeting is not a good thing. I've seen people sitting in meditation, what we call in English, twiddling their thumbs. There's no reason to do that at all. So the first part of the restlessness is to sit as still as you are able to do. If you have pain, as I just said, you can change your posture, of course. And you change your posture quietly and silently and with awareness, with mindfulness. So you're not disturbing other people, and you're using the whole movement as an act of meditation. The other restlessness is the mental restlessness, which is, of course, where the physical restlessness begins. But the mental restlessness is the endless thinking, the endless internal chattering and conversations that we have. We've had people on retreat who will come, and we had one guy who came and wrote his book in his head. So, that's not taking you to peace. That's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, etc., etc. And we have the fantasies that are generated in the mind. The idea that, well, this meditation is not really enough, it's boring. And it would be better if I was sitting on the beach in Mallorca or Ibiza, something in that way. So we have this mental restlessness. Now, the instruction for the Anapanasati is make the breath the most important, in fact, the sole object of your awareness. So when something arises, whether it's physical restlessness or mental restlessness, we cut our identification or our attachment to it. We make the breath the most important thing. Again, in Vipassana, these aspects, these same aspects that we call hindrances for Anapanasati, become doorways to our understanding when we arrive at Vipassana, the bare attention style of Vipassana. The next one is, actually it's translated as sloth and torpor, but we can speak about tiredness or low energy. And so, again, this can be a struggle for people. That the idea of meditation isn't to fall asleep because you have a posture that's comfortable, and you're bored with the practice and the effort that's required for it. The instruction is take a good posture, have your back straight, your chin tucked in, your hands in front of you, your shoulders relaxed. Now, make the breath the sole object of your attention. Okay. Well, this is boring. It's not interesting at all. And you can see people, their posture going down and down and down, and their head going forward, and then sleeping. So sleeping is sleeping. Meditation is meditation. They're not the same thing. If you want to sleep, you should go to your bed. If you're going to meditate, stay alert. Push that energy. Make the breath the most important thing. Certainly more important than falling asleep. This is very important to understand. It's very important. I think we never heard of anyone who became enlightened in their sleep. So the meditation practice is important to do it. If you're going to do it, you do it properly. So when sleepiness, sloth or torpor, low energy, when that arises in the mind, then again with this samurai sword, we cut our relationship to it. We brighten the mind. We push past that all the time and make the breath the most important thing. Now, when we come to Vipassana, that's pretty much what we have to do also, to be aware of the sleepiness or the boredom arising. But nevertheless, with that awareness, pushing past it, not to allow it to overtake us. And this is, again, fundamental to our understanding of this being that we call self, not to get lost in the mind. The mind itself is like, we could say it's like water. It's always running downhill. It's always looking for the easiest thing, the most comfortable thing. And when you have, a good posture in meditation, it's easy to sleep. Of course, in my early days of training, I fell asleep in the meditation. Of course I did. But the instruction then was, well, brighten the mind. You're not here to sleep. I said, oh yes, of course. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you. And then you stimulated by that concern, by that love of the teacher. You're not here to sleep, so brighten the mind. So that's the Anapanasati, and then moving that into the Vipassana, of course. And then the last one, the fifth hindrance, is doubt. And doubt, of course, is a common movement of mind. Here we are speaking only about doubt in the practice. In life you can have doubt about many things, of course. But when it comes to the practice itself, when you feel that, well, nothing's happening, I'm doing what he tells me, I'm watching the breath, but I don't feel calm, I don't feel peaceful, I do feel sleepy, but I'm trying to push past that. So maybe this practice doesn't work. Maybe this practice of Anapanasati, the practice that was the foundation of what we now call Vipassana, that took the Buddha to full realization, maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it works for everyone else, but just not for me, and so perhaps I need to do something else. But not only that, maybe the instruction wasn't given clearly. Maybe I haven't understood something, and it's his fault, it's the teacher's fault. Or maybe the teacher's no good. I mean, he's sitting up there higher than us and giving us all these instructions. But who's to say that he really knows what he's talking about? And this is doubt. And this is destructive, not only in our practice of Anapanasati, but actually in our life, to be doubting of everything. But it's a normal movement of mind. Its strength depends on how much we empower it. So in the beginning, in our Anapanasati practice, then we take out the samurai sword and cut it. Just do what you have been instructed to do. You're testing something to see if it works. And what you're meeting in that is you. I've already said this. What you're meeting in this practice is you. But the movement of Vipassana, the whole Vipassana practice of Anapanasati, Vipassana, bare attention, and metta, is to test the instructions to see if they are working for you. You're not here to believe anything, nothing at all. The instructions are given for your benefit. And if you do the practice properly, then you can expect good results. So when it comes to doubt, if doubt arrives in the practice of Anapanasati, cut it, don't follow it. Just make the breath the most important thing. And if doubt arises in the practice of Vipassana, then you can just relax, because it's just a movement of mind, like desire and aversion, restlessness and sleepiness. It's just a movement of mind, and that movement of mind only has the power that you give it. So if you are able to sit peacefully with doubt, then you will see its nature, and you will see its destructive nature in your life, not only in the meditation, of course. And so we have these 5 hindrances. At the beginning, they're called hindrances. And when we move into Vipassana, they're called doorways to our understanding. They're the same things, but the first part of our practice is to cultivate a mind that is focused, a mind that is clear, a mind that ultimately can rest with itself and allow the understanding of the nature, the true nature of this being that we call self, to become apparent. So we're no longer struggling. We're no longer dividing the mind into the things I want and the things I don't want. We're no longer dividing life into the things I want and the things I don't want. But we are responding wisely, lovingly, with compassion and consideration for ourselves and then for all beings. We're not making these choices. Well, I like you, so I can be kind to you. I don't like you, so I'm not going to be kind to you. When the heart is open, where these 5 aspects of mind are not dictating our life, desire, aversion, restlessness, sleepiness, and doubt, when they're not dictating our life, then the heart manifests. And whether we like someone or don't like them, we can still be kind, we can still be generous, we can be caring and compassionate. We don't have to invite them to come and live with us, but we can say hello. And if they do come, we can offer them a cup of tea. We can be kind. We cease to be the victim in our own life. And this is really one of the major aspects of Vipassana and loving kindness, that we cease to become the victim in our own life. The idea that if only I had that, I'd be happy. If only I didn't have this, I'd be happy. Chasing the mind full of thoughts. Let's talk about Dhamma. Let's talk about self and no self and all these different ideas. That's not our Dhamma practice. Our Dhamma practice is to enter into the, if you like, the state of meditation. To recognize that all these thoughts, moods, feelings and emotions arise without any prompting from us, any conscious prompting at least. And to each one we can say, this is not me, it's not mine, it's not what I am. It's just a movement of mind. And that movement of mind only has the power that I give it. And if I don't feed it, then it can't stay. And when it falls away, there is the peace. Peace isn't something to be created. Peace, love, compassion, joy, the Brahma Viharas, they're here, they're always here. The awakening, the full awakening is here. What covers it are these different aspects of mind. So our practice is not to achieve or get something, but to let go, and let go, and let go, and let go. And if we let go a little, there's a little peace. And if we let go a lot, there's a lot of peace. And if we let go completely, complete peace. Complete peace arising from a mind now in harmony with itself. So then I offer this for your consideration and your reflection.